Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Hit that link tree and make your way over to jerichogreen.net. Now, I think we're starting to see the final decline of Sloppy Joe, Bidenus pervertus, our grandpa in chief. You know when you're on an airplane and the captain comes on and says, we're now going to begin our final descent. I think we're seeing the final mental descent of Sloppy Joe because it's getting more intense. His incidences, his slip-ups, his hiccups, whatever you want to call them, they're getting more frequent and they're getting a little more intense. Just went over some railroad tracks. And this can be highlighted no better than his interaction with Eva Longoria the other day. Yes, the actress, what was it? Desperate Housewives. What was that show back in the day? Was that it? Desperate Housewives? One of the most famous Latinas to come out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Apparently, the way, and I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking the same thing I was thinking when I first heard the story. How the fuck did Eva Longoria and Sloppy Joe's paths cross? It's not Latinx Heritage Month or some shit, is it? I think we're still knee deep in Pride Month. So, apparently at the White House, they're screening this movie called Flaming Hot. And I was like, what the fuck? So apparently it's about this Mexican dude who is the janitor for Frito-Lay, and he gave them the idea for a hot Cheetos. Somebody made a movie about that. And I assume Eva Longoria's in it. She's in it. She produced it or something. No. Eva, listen, give me a minute. So we got this idea. Eva, babe, hey, it's your agent. How you doing? Probably flying up to PCH in a convertible with some Coke residue on his nose and some little whore's head in his lap. Eva, babe, yeah, hi. Got this project for you. Yeah, it's called Flamin' Hot. She's like, I don't do pornos. No, it's not a porno. It's about this Mexican guy who's a janitor at the Frito-Lay building. He gives them the idea for hot Cheetos. What do you think, Eva? She said, yeah, I'll do it. So they're screening this movie at the White House, Flaming Hot, about the origins of hot Cheetos. And apparently there's been Frito-Lay has come out and disputed this story, saying that this guy did not have anything to do with them coming up with hot Cheetos. So this could be a bunch of bullshit, but you know how the Bidens feel about those breakfast tacos. So they're on stage. She's obviously passing the mic off to him, so you know some shit's gonna happen. But the shit happened before he got on the mic. I know. Normally he gets on the mic first, and that's when all the crazy senile shit comes spilling out of that hole under his nose. But no. Joe was kicking this shit off before he even got to the mic. Well, what did he do now? Eva Longoria is not a child, so he couldn't have done anything perverted. Well, Biden said, hey, hold my Metamucil. So what he did was he did a series of uncomfortable things, but there's one that rises to the top. So number one, the way he hugged her. He hugged her, then he whispered something in her ear, which is probably something like, something along those lines. And he whispered something to her. Then they kind of let go of each other. They stop hugging, but he still has his arms around her and his hands are like on her upper back, like in between her shoulder blades. And that's a very romantic, intimate way to hold a woman. Usually you hug a woman, then you let go. Or maybe you'll leave one hand around her waist for a minute. You know, there's etiquette to hugging. And hugging, putting both your hands in the middle of a woman's shoulder blades, that's like holding her close. So he's holding her, she's trying to lean away. And then the creme de la creme, ha ha ha. He's releasing his embrace, and he drags his hands to about a half-inch away from her titty. Again, the hands are too high. That's why you lower the hand, so you don't run the risk of touching a woman's titty that's not your woman. Those aren't your titties. But not Sloppy Joe. That mental breakdown is real. So he drags his hands across her upper back, gets about a half-inch from her titty, and then Eva, like many women in his presence, had to grab his... He even did it to Hillary Clinton. So do we got to add bad eyesight to Sloppy Joe's list of medical shortcomings? Because if you've seen Hillary Clinton's face, you would not want to hold her any longer than you had to. But he did that to Hillary Clinton. But she puts her hands and like, hey, you're about to touch my titty, old man. This is what happens. This is the perfect... Oh, and then, hold on, this is the best. This is the cherry on top of the Sloppy Joe Sunday. Is that he gets on the mic and says, I've known her for a long time. She was 17 and I was 40. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would you say that, Sloppy Joe? Why would you say that when you met her, she was 17 years old and you were 40? Were you waiting? Were you counting down to Eva's 18th birthday? Of course not. You know Joe doesn't wait. I was surprised. I thought Eva was a little old for him. He likes some 10 and under. But I guess he was feeling, he wanted some of that spicy Latina, some of that Latinx, some of the breakfast tacos. And that shit is so weird. But this would be the perfect time for a where are they now? You know, there's certain people you had in your life, maybe someone you had in your classroom growing up or something. Where are they now? And for Sloppy Joe, that would be like women. If you've worked in a convalescent home and you got the handsy, perverted old man always trying to grab you, always saying some foul shit, and you just chalk it up to senility, I wonder where they are now. Did you work in a nursing home when you were younger and you're like, I wonder what happened to Mr. So-and-so. I wonder what happened to Mr. Biden. That handsy old man that used to grab ass and titties and sniff people. I wonder what happened to him. Is he dead yet? What happened to him? Well, I think we found him, ladies. I think we found what happened to Mr. Bidenus Pervertus. And he found his way to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And he's just as handsy as ever. This is that old man who said and did inappropriate things. He might say shit to the young ladies or grab their ass or something. And you're like, oh, Mr. So-and-so. Because he's an old man. He can get away with it. I think this is what we have here. God save the queen, man. I was 40 and she was 17. Perfect. This is what we have. We have the perverted, handsy old man that used to jack off out in the open. You go in his room to give him his medication, and he's stroking his dick on the bed right in front of you and act like he doesn't see you when you open the door. This is what happened to him. He's in the Oval Office. He has his shaky, liver-spotted hand over the big red nuclear button. This is what happened to him. You remember him falling over, tripping over the sandbag a couple weeks ago? That shit is going to start happening more and more frequently. No bullshit. Did you know Sloppy Joe has 20 fundraisers to go to in the month of June? That's a lot for an old person who's dealing with some mental decline, who shuffles when they walk, who have that old person hunch. That osteoporosis, whatever they're dealing with. He doesn't stand up straight and walk. He doesn't take strides. He shuffles. Like he's unsure on his feet. Like there's some kind of neuron. It's disconnected. His brain is doing one thing and his feet are doing another. We're going to see more and more of this. And under normal circumstances, there's no way in the world that I would laugh at a feeble, senile old man who had trouble standing upright. But these aren't normal circumstances. They shoved and injected this old fucker into the White House. So I'm going to give him the business. But Eva Longoria, on behalf of the United States of America, I would like to apologize for our handsy grandpa in chief who got but a half-inch away from them titties. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.